Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm one of the social workers here. Nice to meet you. I'm Monique. How are you today?
I'm okay.
You good?
Yes.
That's good. So, last time you met with my colleague, IT.
Yeah.
And I know you guys went over a few things, but before we begin, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Monique. I'm one of the counselors here at the Women's Center, and I've been here for the past 4.5 years, and I've worked closely with IT as well. And before we begin, I would like to go over the confidentiality agreement form with you. However, you do not have to sign it again, but just to remind you of what the confidentiality is. I would have to break confidentiality if you present danger to yourself or someone else,
Right.
if we suspect an older adult is being abused or a child under the age of 16, or if you are suicidal, or if my files get subpoenaed by the court. Those are the reasons I would have to break confidentiality. Would you like to
Right.
look it over again, or?
No. I pretty much went over all that before.
Okay. So, the last time you were here, you spoke to IT about getting over your depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Can you tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 from when you were here a few weeks ago to now, where do you think you're at?
I think I'm a little bit better, maybe at a 7 now. Before, when I met with IT, I was probably at maybe a 4 or a 5.
Okay, so you're at a 4 to 5. I'm
She-
sorry, if you don't mind, I'm just taking some notes to add to your
that's
file.
Okay.
So you said then you were at a 4 to 5, but today you're at a 7?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's good
Yeah.
news. Can you tell me what you've done differently that moved you from that level?
IT gave me some advice. She said I should go back to church. I used to go to church a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just stopped going because of just all the stress and depression. I just didn't feel like doing anything.
Okay.
And then she told me that I should get back into the church, and since that's just something that I've always found strength in,
Mm-hmm.
so I just started going back recently and feeling like it's kind of helping me a little bit. I feel a little bit more positive.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're a very religious person. So most of your strength, you're saying, comes from, having your relationship with God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I'm a Christian as well, so
Okay.
I definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And what are other areas of strength in your life? Like, who's in your life that you can draw strength from?
My mother.
Okay.
She's a strong support for me.
Okay.
She really helps me out with my daughter, and she's somebody that I can talk to, and
Mhm.
but she has her own issues, so sometimes she's not really available for me
Okay,
fully.
I understand.
Yeah. Also, I have I'm close to 2 of my cousins.
Mm-hmm.
They're also very supportive of me as well.
Okay.
They're very
May I ask
helpful.
their names, sir?
Mora,
Mm-hmm.
Denise.
And Denise?
Yeah.
Are they younger or older cousins?
We're all around the same age. We're very close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your daughter?
My daughter's just like my life. She's just, been with me through it all.
Mm-hmm.
She's 11.
Mm-hmm.
I just do everything and try to do everything for her, and she's just another one of somebody who's like a strong support for me as well.
Okay.
Because without her, I probably would be even worse. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So I see in your file here that you were experiencing some depression.
Yeah.
Can you expound on that a little bit more? Tell me what are the things in your life that you think that's depressing you. I have a few activities I'd like to go over with you, but just to get a general idea before we do that.
It's just everything. So it's just, I got married at a very young age, and
Mm-hmm.
my husband when I was married, it was a terrible time. My husband was just abusive to me, sexually, emotionally, physically sometimes. So it didn't work out. Divorced him, and he hasn't really been around. My daughter Christine, she barely sees him. He doesn't pay any support at all. So I'm struggling to pay all the bills and everything on my own, and my job is not that great. I don't make a lot of money, so it's kind of hard to maintain my rent and all the bills that I have to pay. That's really depressing because, you know, it's just really, really hard. And I'm just dealing with raising my daughter on my own. Really hard as well. So I feel like all those things, and also just other relationships I've gotten into recently, also just adds to my depression.
Okay. When you say relationships, what do you mean?
Just involvement with other like men that I've been seeing. I just feel like they're all kind of the same. It's just very abusive towards me and just aggressive. And just, I feel like it's a pattern. The last two guys I was talking to is just, one of them used to just always just put me down all the time and say I'm stupid, I'm worthless, and you know, it really got to me. The other guy I was talking to was pushed me, put his hands on me, so that didn't work out either. Yeah.
Sounds like you're going through a lot, Casey.
Yeah.
And you know, I just want to take the time to commend you for all the stuff that you're going through. You seem like a strong individual, you know, to be taking care of your daughter by yourself, raising her on your own with no support from your ex-husband, you know, surviving on minimal means. You know, I'm proud of you. And, you know, that's really good that you're able to draw strength from your religion, and that you're able to still survive, you're able to still take care of her. And I'm sorry that you have to go through that situation with your partners, because you know, no one should have to go through that. No one should have to experience that. You seem like a wonderful individual, and I'm sorry that you have to experience that. I'm hoping that throughout our sessions I can help you to build on your strengths, you know. So what I would like to do, I have two things here. One's called the critical events timeline, and one's called the eco map. But before we do so we'll do the critical timeline first. We'll go over it together. What it is just basically gathering a bunch of information from you about your past, like since you were a child, just to see any patterns. And it's not just good events, it's both good and bad. So just to see, it's nice when you can have a visual of what you've gone through in the past, and sometimes it can help you to see, you know, where the problems began or what you can do to help with that. So I'm just gonna ask you I'll ask you some questions, and then you can just interject and tell me the rest. So when were you born?
1984.
What's your birthday?
July 19th.
July 19th, 1984?
Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell me a little bit about your childhood growing up?
It's pretty good. My family was kind of middle class, so we grew up in an okay house, and I would say it was pretty good. I have 5 other brothers, so we grew up in a big family. My mother and my father were both there. My dad, he did pass after a while when I was a young age. So.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
I was about 6 or 7, I believe. My childhood was pretty good up until then. After I lost my dad and my mother, everything just changed. She wasn't the same, like, attentive mother that she was before. I would say that maybe now that I think back on it, I think she was a little depressed.
So you start noticing that. So you said your dad passed when you were about 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And you start noticing your mom's depression when?
Probably around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
She just wasn't around the way she used to be. She never paid any attention to us anymore. She was always in her room.
Mm-hmm.
She just wasn't the same mother. She was just a different person.
Oh,
So it's like me and my brothers kind of just raised ourselves.
oh wow.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes when people experience certain trauma, like, you know, the loss of a loved one, it can cause them as well to go into isolation or depression. And sometimes we don't even realize that, because I went through a similar situation as well.
Yeah.
So I totally get what happens to a person when they lose someone.
Yeah.
So you said she started experiencing depression around the same time, and what else? Anything else leading up?
Other than that, I was pretty okay in high school. Went to I didn't go to college. I got married very young. That's why. I was 20.
So you got married at age 20?
Yeah. I met Richard and we got married pretty fast. As I mentioned, it wasn't a good marriage. He was very abusive towards me, so I left him at 21 after I had my daughter.
Can you tell me about, you said it wasn't a good marriage. Can you tell me some more about that?
He was a drinker.
Okay.
Yeah,
He drank?
he drank a lot. And then when he would drink, then he would take his anger out on me.
Okay.
So he would just call me names.
So name calling. Okay.
Yeah. He would hit me sometimes. And just yell a lot and throw things, and it was just wasn't good.
Oh,
I used to be
wow.
scared of him, so
Wow.
I
How
found the
often
courage to
was
leave him.
the physical abuse?
Probably about once a week.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And you know something, Casey? Once a week is once too much.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell you, I commend you for escaping that. A lot of women aren't strong enough to you know, to escape a situation like that, or to leave a situation like that. So I commend you for being able to walk away. So you said that you left Richard when you were young.
Yeah.
Was
It didn't
that,
last long, the marriage.
was that before your daughter or after?
Before.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you left her before. You left him before. And was that due to the abuse?
Yes.
Okay, so you left. And have you had any contacts with him since?
Not really. Just barely any contact at all. He'll call every once in a while. Just very minimal contact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he supporting your daughter?
No, not really.
Oh wow. So you've
Not
been
really.
paying support you've been supporting her on your own all this time?
Basically, just a little help from my mother.
Oh wow. Oh, wow.
I would say in the last year he probably sent me one check for $100.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so.
Wow. And in this time, like, it's very difficult, especially, you know, you mentioned earlier, and I see in your file that you're an administrative worker at a small firm.
Yeah.
That must be hard to take care of your
Very
daughter
hard.
for so many years.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you said you left him. You're taking care of your daughter up till now. Do you still have your job?
Yes, I do.
You still?
Yeah.
Okay. And same company, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And tell me a little bit about your job.
Just a very tedious job. It's just boring. Just come in. It's the same thing all the time. My boss is just very annoying, I'll say.
Okay.
We don't get along at all. I think he has it out for me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's always on my back. So
Oh,
there's
wow.
that stress as well. I hate going to work. I hate waking up in the morning.
Oh wow.
I only go because I have to pay the bills.
Oh wow.
But my boss is very demanding.
Okay. So you see, with having lost your dad,
Yeah.
going through the abusive situation, having the stress at work, that could be contributing a whole lot to you, towards you feeling, down and depressed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would like to move on to the other chart I was telling you about. I have a sample here,
Okay.
and if you don't mind, we'll just come a little bit closer. So it's called the Eco Map, and what it does is just a visualization of your network. Things around you that are going good, that are not so good, so you can just see it. So this one, basically, this would be you in the middle, your age, and in this particular example, the circle represents your relationships, the square represents all your challenges, the two arrows going back and forth represent strong relationships that you have with whom, and the X's you can use to represent any broken relationship. The arrow going towards you is a stressor, and the arrow going just from you is what you give to but doesn't give back to you.
Okay.
And also, this little circle here is what gives you a sense of responsibility in your life. So I'm just gonna give you a chance to do your own, and then we'll discuss it after.
Okay.
So just take your time, and if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Okay. I'm seeing a lot of stuff that are stressing me out on here.
That's why I like this one in particular. You don't have to do the legend the same, but this is just an example.
Okay. I think I'm done.
Okay, so we can just go over this together. Oh wow. Good job, Casey. Wow. So, I'm seeing here, okay, so this is you, you're 32. I see that you're experiencing some challenges with depression, and shows that you have little pleasure in life. You have difficulty standing up for yourselves. Your boss is a constant stressor, and your ex-husband, that relationship is broken, and it shows that you have a good relationship with your cousins, Denise and how do you pronounce it? Mora.
Yeah.
And your mother as well, also your daughter. I'm seeing that your job and your daughter give you a strong sense of responsibility. And I see that your boss here is a stressor. The one thing I'm concerned about, like looking on all of this, with the depression and difficulty standing up for yourself, which one do you think you would like to work on now? We could work on together.
I guess we can work on the difficulty that I have for standing up for myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about that. So difficulty standing up for yourself. What do you mean? Give me an example.
I just feel like I'm just always quiet, and I just take a lot of abuse from people, obviously. I just feel like people always walk all over me, and I just allow things to happen or allow them to talk to me anyway, because I just don't have the strength or energy to fight back or stand up for myself, or maybe I feel like I don't deserve to be treated well.
Okay. How do you feel about not being able to stand up for yourself?
It's really stressful.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to be able to, be a stronger person.
And you know what? What if I tell you that might be one of the reasons why you could be experiencing the depression?
Yeah.
Have you gone to see your doctor about the depression?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I think that would be a good idea, just to let your doctor know what's going on,
Okay.
and your doctor could further refer you, if depending on the severity of it.
Okay.
Your doctor might even recommend you to see a psychiatrist, and that's nothing bad. It's just they help you more with like what your thought process.
I don't know, Black people don't really see psychiatrists. Feel like we're crazy if you see one.
No, it doesn't. Actually, I think it means that you're strong, because even you being here right now, it shows me that you care about yourself. You want to move from where you are, and
Yeah.
that's a real good strength that you possess, Casey. Also, I want to ask you, we talked about difficulty standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
What do you think it would look like with you if you were able to stand up for yourself? What do you think the difference would be?
I feel like maybe it would have a more positive effect on my relationships, like all my relationships, because I wouldn't get the same treatment from people. They would have more respect for me.
Okay. So, I would like to tell you about, before we get to dealing with the standing up for yourself piece, there's something that we practice here at our agency. They're called grounding techniques, and there are various types of grounding techniques. There's breathing. You can practice breathing. You can practice self-talk.
Okay.
And just different stuff you can do to center yourself, meaning that you just get yourself to a place where you're not stressed out, or you're able to speak up for yourself.
Okay.
So one of the things that I practice, and it works for me, is that I do self-talks, and a lot of people think self-talk is not really, a good thing, but just being able to say positive things in the morning. You're a strong person, just stuff that you can say. So let's say, for example, your boss doesn't get to you, or maybe you could practice what you're gonna say. Let's say you're in a relationship with someone and they're doing something that you don't like. For example, you can say, let's say one of your partner he says something mean to you, because you mentioned that some of them have been verbally abusive in the past, right? You can start off by saying, I don't like it when. How do you think you can finish that sentence to get your point across?
I don't like it when you call me stupid.
Right. Any other example?
I don't like it when you yell at me.
Yeah, see, you can do it.
Don't talk to me like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you, even with your boss, you can sit down, maybe send a nice email to your boss, and maybe even request to sit and have a meeting with him, just to go over how you're feeling.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Just being able to express yourself.
He's just not really somebody who's understanding. Like, he wouldn't understand what he's doing wrong. I feel like maybe it's time for me to find a different job. So maybe I need some help and support with that.
Okay, yeah, we can offer you support with that.
Yeah.
In our next meeting, we have I believe IT mentioned to you about a women's group that we have, where you can go and express different concerns. It's a way to network with other persons in your community.
Yeah.
Have you gone to any of those meetings?
No, not yet.
Okay. Is that
Mhm.
something that you would like to do?
I think I can check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because one of our coordinators there, they also deal with helping women to find jobs.
Okay.
And so when you do go, her name is Michelle.
Okay.
You can ask for Michelle, and she'll be able to. By the end of the session, I'll try to get you her business card so you
Okay.
can call her and speak to her. So,
Okay.
so yeah, yeah, I see we're making some progress
Yeah.
here. So, if you were able to say to one of your partners that were being verbally abusive, that I don't like it when you say this or when you say that, how do you think that will make you feel?
Stronger, more in
Mhm.
control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. That's awesome. So, Tova, so today I think we've accomplished a lot today. We went over our critical events timeline. We did that together.
Mhm.
We did the eco map.
Yeah.
We practiced some grounding techniques. You mentioned to me about the stuff you've gone through from your child till now.
Yeah.
I especially like the eco map. If
Yeah.
you like, you can have a copy of this.
Okay.
Just so you can see what's going on in your life, the
Sure.
things that are constantly stressing you. And for our next session, we can choose another thing that you would like to work on.
Okay.
I think you have a lot of strength. Just being able to walk away from your abusive partner, that in itself, it takes a lot of strength to walk away. And I do commend you for that. And for taking care of your daughter all on your own. In terms of the partners that you've met and they've been abusive, don't take that on to yourself. It's not you. You're a
Okay.
beautiful person. You have a wonderful personality from what I know so far.
Yeah.
You've taken the time even just to come to counseling. That's huge strength. And yeah, so how do you feel about our meeting today?
I feel a little bit more positive,
Mm-hmm.
more hopeful.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just excited. Hopefully, maybe I can start to make some changes and move on to a different job, and
Uh-huh.
just want to be able to just, focus on the positive things in my life and take care of my daughter and be able to do that.
That's great.
Yeah.
And it seems like you have goals. And there's something called SMART goals. And for our next meeting, I'm just gonna make a note of that. We can go through the SMART goals, and it's just a way of the goals that you just told me about, being able to just move from where you are to a better place.
Okay.
Steps that you can take to get there, and one of them, even that we mentioned today, is just speaking up for yourself.
Okay.
So we've come to the end of our session, and as I mentioned to you, the next meeting we can go over the SMART goals. I will get you Michelle's business card, so at the secretary at the front can give it to you,
Okay.
so you can get in contact with Michelle in terms of job search. And you mentioned that you'll try to go to the women's meeting.
Yes.
And I would just like to ask you one more question. You mentioned when you were with IT that you mentioned just now that before you were at about a 4 or 5 in terms of your feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and today you feel at a 7.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel now?
Maybe an 8.
An 8? Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. You were able to move from a 7 to an 8 just in one session. That's
Yeah.
great. So I'll check in with you again in our next meeting
Okay.
to see how you're doing. We're hoping to move from an 8 to a 10. And I believe with your persistence, with even taking the time to come out to the meetings or counseling session and stuff. I know you'll get there.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, Casey, thank you for taking the time to meet
Okay.
with you. To meet with me, I do appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll just walk you out.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Okay.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.